Hey, yo, this is Rashid Noree back at you again with another one from King's Court, where queens are raised and kings are born. And today's subject matter is going to be on the fact that many women just don't idealize what a man wants. Fact of the matter is, that's one of the gravest issues in our relations between men and women. See, too often women are looking at themselves as being the prize, when in fact it takes two. There's a king and a queen. So the prize is you're joining to become one from the fact of two. And this issue is a grave fact wherewith we have tendency to overlook one another. In this instance today, I'd like to touch on the fact that women, do you really know or feel that you know what a man wants? I mean, are you in tune with your man? Do you understand what makes him happy? What would drive him? What motivates him? So too often we forget that the simplest fact of a man is having peace. The simplest thing, having peace. We don't find ourselves generating in our relationships peace. See, we become toxic, narcissistic, and that's both men and women. Not just men, ladies. Trust me, y'all are pretty freaking narcissistic too. But on this note, I want to address the things that make us happy, things that drive us to be happy with you. Peace being the operative factor. So it is a general conversation that men have amongst ourselves. That we just want for our ladies to be able to fine tune us in a sense that they show us love on levels. See, I've always said, and I'll continue to say, that no one truly knows and understands what love is until they have in themselves the understanding of what God has put into his creation, that of love. See, that love is unconditional. Till then, you have a conditional admiration. It's not even love, because love is truly unconditional if it is true in understanding. Now, most men, we catapult ourselves into a masculine sense when we become men. See, you graduate from being boys to men. But in most cases, ladies, y'all want us to stay boys. Y'all want to be able to control us and nurture us like your sons. Well, in fact, you're not meant to be that in our lives. You're meant to be that sole purpose of generating more ability in us. And I said that to say this. Men are driven by his lady. Men are driven by the women in his lives. See, we progress because we know that we have to be in a certain, how should I say, genre, a certain lifestyle, a certain stature in order to be looked at by a woman, in order to be respected by a woman, in order to be loved sincerely by a woman. So, with that said, there are certain things that we look for in our women. First thing is that hoe phase that I hear a lot of today. That hoe phase. Granted, men, we are a large part of that. We have a large part in that. But yet and still, ladies, if you weren't so aggressively wall stricken, I'm saying it in a way that I may not be passing it off as a good sense, but like y'all put up such walls, like with these standards and stipulations and all this other stuff that's crap. You make us not want to stick and stay. So you make us work for it. When in fact, all we're supposed to do is be human with one another. The simplest of things. You make it so difficult for us to be as we were when we first met you. Because when we first meet you, man, our hearts is into it. We really vibing for you. But then we start seeing some of the things that y'all do and say is wicked. Bad behavior. Bad speech. Your heart isn't in the right place when it comes to us. So we'll shy away. We'll back up. We'll start taking into account all that you do from that point on, and we'll start seeing it as, this is what we're seeing in the back of our heads the whole time. She's not for me. So why can't you just be who you are rather than the mask that you put on day to day, hour after hour, in fact, in some cases? It's sad, but this is the state that we're in. Ladies, all we ask of you is just to be your wholesome, nurturing, loving self in the natural form of yourself. Being a queen, I say that too often. See, we have been fixated to believe that these kings and queens they put in our face, these Roman suckers, these Roman twitches, are the kings and queens that we're supposed to look up to. And this is what we have today. We faking and phony with one another. Real king and queen is always upfront and honest. Now, granted, you got to get out your minds too, ladies, that we're not equal. We'll never be equal. You can never be a man, and we can never be a woman. Hence to the communities at large that believe that they can be. Well, it's a farce. It's a delusion. Our children are suffering because of it. Our nation is suffering because of it. If you look at it today, most other nations don't even look at it as a society that is worthy of even leading anybody, to even sit at the table with them because of this. It's running rampant. This country has now become Sodom and Gomorrah. And they see it. So trust me and believe soon enough, if we ain't getting on our toes fast, we're going to be at war. World war is at hand. Got to get a hold of this. Masculinity can't be wiped out. We can't allow it. Can't allow it. So men, be prevalent in your children's lives, especially your sons and your daughters. See, ladies, whether you want to admit it or not, men keep boys out of prison and girls off of stripper poles when they're in their homes. Keep them from being ratchet, wicked. Little boys are growing up feminine, with emotions. You see them out here, they're killing each other senselessly out of emotion, not consciousness, not cognizance, not rationale, not that of a man. You got to know this. You keep saying you don't need a man. All right, well, you don't need a man, but that child needs that man. See, because it's also a broken link. So that child needs to understand that part of himself. Now, I'm not going to go too far into that, but that's real. Masculinity is being diminished, and you don't even see it. Men, stand up. Be there for your children no matter what. I'm not saying it's an easy task or anything of the sort, but yet and still, you have to fight for your right to be a father. You lay down with them. Make that mess right. Do what you have to do no matter what it takes, even if it means that you be hungry a day or two. Do what you're supposed to do. I could do it. You can. Trust me, I was one of the most selfish red motherfuckers you could find. But at the same time, when I had children, at 14, nigga, I stood up. Nigga, at 14, So you niggas today who 30 and 40 years old having children and leaving them barren with their mothers alone, you suckers. And I say that with dead from the heart. You suckers. And you ladies, stop being assholes. Stop pushing them away from their children, because those children have more right to that man than you will ever have. Trust and believe that. And that ain't for me. That's God's right. That goes to another thing too. We are circumventing these children from coming into this world when God has decreed for them to be here, and you abort them. So I say to you now, this new situation with the abortions are being abolished. It's a beautiful thing. And it's crazy because we don't even realize that whenever you abort a child, and then that child is meant to come into this world. So then there are women who are having children who don't even have right to be a mother. Now I say that because, look, a child is meant to come in this world. God is going to make that child come into this world no matter what you do. So that soul is going to enter to this world one way or another. Now we'll have misguided children from parents who didn't want them. Now they're being put into these foster homes and other people's care of the government and so forth and so on. And it's unnecessary. See, there was a time where people, they would abort or they would kill their children because of fear of poverty. You're doing the same thing. You're killing your children out of fear of poverty or less of a lifestyle. It's wicked. Do you feel me? It's wicked. Those children have a right because they are meant to be here. They are meant to be here. We're circumventing the next Malcolm X, the next Marcus Messiah Garvey, the next, Martin Luther King. Man, we got to stop this madness with circumventing the children from being in this world and then exactly as they are supposed to be, kings and queens. See, we got to raise them up right. That's what we are charged with by God. We're charged with that by God. Now, I said all that to say this. It's the reason why half the men are not sticking and staying. Because they feel that you have let them down. Yes, as a mother, you are letting them down. See, because now he has to go out there and fight and tussle and try to find his way because he don't know that other side of himself. You've taken that away from him. And you niggas who are running away from your children, you are taking that away from them. What makes a man happy is being able to be a man, taking care of his family, gaining understanding and knowledge so they can teach his children, help and guide his wife or his woman. This is what makes a man happy. That's his peace. Not all the yab, and being wicked. No, man, that's not the way. That's not what's happening. It's not. So your whole phase is a deterrent. See, what happens is you don't realize it, but you see it with Kim Kardashian. She made that sex tape. Now her children has gotten wind of it. Now it's affecting her whole life with her children involved. Perfect example. Let me explain this, right? A man, he chooses you, he loves you, he shows you off, and he brings you around his people, he takes you to events, and then a couple guys pull him over to the side and say, damn, yo, man, I smashed that freak. You think a man want to hear that? You think a man want to run into that? Now he might punch that man in his mouth because he think he lying, but you got to be a rational person. Realize whole phase is alive. God, let it go, sister. Stop thinking like that. Stop raising your children to understand. Stop giving it away. Live a certain way. It's got to be something done here. Got to change. We got to start waking up. We sleeping giants and we don't even know it. This world belonged to us. It belonged to us, and that's by God's right. God said that. I'm not just saying it. Ain't just come out of my mouth. I'm repeating what God has said. It's all through all the books. All of them. The Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Quran. Learn, read, understand. Stop falling into this Willie Lynch syndrome. Willie Lynch was an asshole. And we are even more assholes for following what he said over 69 to 80 years ago. Longer than that, actually, 116 years ago, to be exact. But yeah, we still fall into the whims of that. We are. We still fall into the whims of that. Willie Lynch said, if you forever want to keep your slaves, put the books in libraries. They will never seek the truth. And when the truth comes to us, we still turn away from it. I tell people all the time, man, look, you may not accept it, but the truth of the matter is we were Muslim. We were brought here in slavery. We were Muslim. Yeah. Roots show it, proves it. Amistad shows it, proves it. We were Muslim. This Christianity stuff was something that was far, far from what was faith. See, Isa alayhi salam, which is Jesus' original name, because he was Aramaic, he was in Hebrew. And Hebrew was a dead language. I found that out acting like I was a Jewish child, trying to find out the truth of the book of the Bible. I got some stories to tell about that one day, but you will know. But the fact of the matter is, Isa alayhi salam came telling the people, leave off the worship of that which is created and worship the one who created all that exists. Simple message. Every last message came with the same thing. This is noted as monotheism. Understand that there's only one God. Because if there was more than one God, now look at the word God. God means sole controller. If there was more than one, the universe would be in shambles. There would be no more creation. We'd be fighting over it and destroying it. Even in the universe as it is in its calamities, it still is in positive note. It still is in perfect unison. It still is as it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's time for prayer. But yeah, it's still as it's supposed to be. But I ask you, ladies, do you really think you know or even care what makes a man happy? Do you know what we want? Or do you even care what we want to be happy? See, because you fail to understand that, even though your happiness is important, but a man's happiness is even more important. Again, like I said, the more you show that unconditional love towards us, the more we strive to make your world go round in unison, perfection. We try to strive to make sure that you have everything because now we happy and pleased with you. But when we not, we give you the side eye. We start having preconceived notions, just like you. Underhanded and overhanded thinking. And we'll play the game right along with you. And step back as soon as we can. And go to the next one. Now, granted, no man really wants to do this. Trust me, we'll stick and stay because we really do love you. We'll give our life for you. We'll step in front of a bullet for you. We'll take ass whippings or give ass whippings for you. We'll stand up. That's how we show love. See, it's a big difference. See, your love is all in emotions. Our love is shown by our actions, deeds, and speech. We'll speak for you rather than against you. We'll act in your presence and in your absence. We'll protect you with our very souls or with our lives. But we don't get that in return. You talk all short of shit about us and around your girlfriends or whatever case may be. In a lot of cases, I ain't saying always. This is not across the board now, ladies. I'm not saying that every single woman does this, but for the large majority, yeah, y'all wicked as fuck. This can't be all about you. You're not the cream of the crop. There's always somebody better. There's already somebody that looks even better than you. Okay, how many masks you put on, what BBLs you get, it's always somebody gonna look better and natural. Man, listen, that's another thing too. Men, we like natural beauty. We like for our women to be naturally beautiful. See, the natural beauty comes from here, not outside, man. It don't matter to us. If you're beautiful inside, you show it to us every single day, you live for the beauty of us, then that's the true beauty in you. When you ratchet, when you wicked, when your mindset is only about you and you only, we're not pleased. It's not a beautiful thing at all. We, in fact, will begin to hate that. I want to know that the woman that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life is the same beautiful woman that I'm going to wake up to every single day. Now, I mean, you can enhance yourself sometimes. You want to go out, that's fine and dandy. But I like to know that the true beauty behind that is for me. It's for me. And I will cherish you. But you can't be still running your whole phase. Can't be. You got to be nurturing. You can't be careless. You can't be a woman that speaks out of place. I mean, I'm just saying, listen, when a man is present, we don't need you to speak. That's our position. Our position is to always be the one who's forthright, upright. We make things move and win together. That's my job. My job is to protect and service us as a people. I'm talking about me and you, me and the lady or whatever the case may be. But yes, you can't be careless. You can't be faultful. Sometimes wicked speech comes from your mouths in the middle of a man's conversation and is not meant. Come on. Listen, same with men. We don't get into y'all conversations when y'all having conversation unless we're asked a question. We're not going to sit there and haggle with women about things that they know and things of that sort unless we're asked a question. But y'all will sit amongst men and will flaunt yourselves, will try to enter the conversations. Now, if you have some insight, then that's good. But if you're not asked to enter with some insight, then it's still not your place. Now, I mean, I know the word, listen, and I get it. A lot of y'all are on this. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Let that go. That's funny. Because, listen, if I say the sky is fucking blue, that doesn't make a difference. The sky is still blue. So you got to let that stuff go. It's wicked. It is a wicked state of being. I mean, I'm in conversation with a sister one day, and we was talking. I started talking about a commercial where they talked about women who are less likely to have children at a certain age. And I was like, see, I talked about the other day. A lot of women, and she said, don't say that. Huh? They just said it on TV. Why is it that? If I say it, it's a problem. Like, I'm just discussing a commercial that was exposing some facts and some things that I talked about a couple of days ago. Don't say that. What do you mean, don't say that? I mean, it's just some things. You just gotta pick your battles. Yeah, man. My mother said that to me one day. My Omi is so wise. She said that Pick your battles, boy. I've stood and picked my battles well until after 20 because I love to fight. I love to fight. I was called rah rah for quite a few years, but that was then. This is now. I still like to fight, but I'd rather talk myself out of a fight today because most people ain't got 5 rounds in them. And trust and believe, if you ain't got 5 rounds with this nigga, you in trouble. I was also called rah rah because if you beat me one day, I'm coming back tomorrow and I'm gonna fight you again. And until I beat you, that's why I got rah rah. But anyway, you gotta learn to know what a man wants, ladies. You have to learn what we want to acquire peace between us. You got to stop trying to think like a man and act like a woman. No. Steve Harvey was on a point that was okay in some aspects, but some of that stuff was just stupid. It didn't apply. You know what they say? If it don't apply, then let it fly. Or let it slide. If it don't apply. Now, you have a man that was trying to explain to you some aspects of men. Yeah, he was doing just that. But he's trying to tell you to think like us. Huh? It's not possible. You'll never be a man. You'll never be able to act like a man. You'll never be able to think like a man because a man is a man and you are a woman. Simple. It's no way possible. You can have some understanding, but to think like us, to act like us, and to be us is impossible. It's not in your nature, and it's not in our nature to be a woman. I know that being a father and a dad for over 36 years. It's not easy trying to be a mother. I didn't have it in me to be a mother. I could only be a father. That's the reason why when at a certain point in my children's lives, I had to let them go to their mothers. Because you can't show a young girl how to be a woman. You can't. You can only give up so much. You can't show a young man how to be respectful totally to the whims and needs of a woman. Woman has to show him that. See, because we sometimes oblivious. Yeah, guys. We were oblivious sometimes. But that's only because it's not taught in the homes no more. It's been taken away from us. These things have been taken away from us. So we have to get away from the unhealthy speech. We really have to get away from the unhealthy speech between us. Argumentation, debates, your opinions. Ladies, opinions. Opinions is just that. It's an opposition to the truth. It's an opposition to the truth. It has no place in a legitimate conversation. Now, you can give an opinion on something, but if there's a fact that's presented, and you have to accept that fact and stop saying, oh, well, no, because saying my opinion don't matter. It really don't. An opinion never matters. It doesn't. There's no fact, there's no proof or evidence is with it. So it won't matter. It's an opinion. It's what you feel. Feelings have no place in a legitimate conversation. Now, if you want to state your feelings of how you feel about something, okay, fine and dandy. Men, we should always try to respect that opinion if it's from her feelings. But at the same time, be able to be cognizant enough to give an understanding of the rationale of that opinion. Now, I'm talking about what she may have been having a feeling about. See, we got to rationally look at everything in life. See, that's what a man does. We are rational creatures. We're rational creatures. We're not irrational. We're not emotional. When you lose control, man, you have lost yourself. Nigga, I'm telling you, when you lose control, you have gone into an emotion of yourself. Now, granted, let me say this again. I'll say it over and over again. You'll hear me consistently saying this. Ladies and gentlemen, women are created with 9 parts of emotion and 1 part intellect. It does not take away from her intellect. In fact, if she is in control of emotions, it heightens that intellect and it makes her very, very queen-like. Men, we are created with 9 parts of intellect and 1 part emotion, but that does not take away from our being having ability to be compassionate towards some things. And in fact, when we utilize that compassion, it brings forth a greater self of understanding and perseverance in our intellect. These are facts. Facts, not an opinion. You can see it for yourself in everyday life. Facts, not an opinion. Not from emotions or feelings. Facts, with proofs and evidences. There's proof in everyday life. There's evidence in the things that we do and say on a daily basis. So, with this in closing, I've kept a little longer than I wanted to, but there's a lot to really address in these matters. But ladies, you got to remember for once and for all, a man is only as good as his woman when he's in relationship with her. He's only as good as his woman. You can tear us down, or you can become a part of building us up. Granted, men, build yourself up and be complete. Now, I say it all the time, ladies, men aren't whole. We can be complete, but we're not whole. You make us whole. But only you and your natural self of being a true queen, a righteous woman, not on some phony stuff, you will be the fact that will lead us and catapult us into a grave, magnificent man. With that said, this is King's Court. I'm Rashid Nori, your host, and this is truly where queens are raised and kings are born. I salute you. One love, peace and blessings. I'm out.